Hey YouTube, blessings and peace on everybody. This is Joe again. I've been a busy little guy this weekend recording a lot of videos. I'm going to address another point, hopefully again with the idea of saving myself some time in the long run, because I so often come across some of the same assertions and I've always wanted to just have a video that I can say, hey, go watch that video. So, we're going to get into it. A frequently asserted argument, and Mr. Deedat makes the argument himself regarding Matthew chapter 27, where in verse 46 Jesus says, about the ninth hour Jesus cried out with a loud voice saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, that is, my God, why have you forsaken me? Now, he posits that because Jesus cried out on the cross, who could he possibly be crying out to? Himself? So certainly this is an example of Jesus not being God. Well, is that truly the case? No, it's not. And once again, it's like a really simple kind of thing, so I get frustrated when it gets so easily missed by someone who obviously knows as much Scripture as Mr. Deedat does. But not everybody does know a lot of Scripture, and so in his defense, let's go ahead and examine exactly what was the purpose of Jesus stating, my God, why have you forsaken me, when he was on the cross. If you would, we're going to look at Psalms 22. I highly recommend taking the time to read the whole thing. It is pretty amazing. Psalm 22 is a messianic psalm, and I'm going to go over just a few of the verses to highlight the fulfillments in the Psalm 22 that Jesus fulfilled. Specifically starting off with verse number 1, and forgive me while I have to read here. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Far from my deliverance are the words of my groaning. That's verse 1 of Psalm 22. Do you happen to recognize anything familiar there? Jesus stated from the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me? Because he was quoting Scripture. He was quoting Scripture with the specific intended purpose so that his audience, those who were present, would know that he was saying, this has been fulfilled in your presence. It's completed. He was quoting a prophetic psalm. And that psalm is a scene of the cross. It's amazing how much detail the psalmist David wrote hundreds of years prior. So we're going to go over just 4 examples. There's quite a few. I think there's no less than 11 specific prophecies, but there may be more. That's just off the top of my head. But we're going to go over 4. So let's jump down to verse 27. I've got some notes here. Verse 27, Psalm 22:7 says, all who see me sneer at me. Now let's quickly reference them. I'm going to be putting these on the screen so you can just read them right there on the screen. But you don't have to trust me. Go ahead and look them up. I would encourage it. And read the whole chapter. Get the context of it. Anyway, Psalm 22:7 says, all who see me sneer at me. That's fulfilled in Matthew 27:39, which says, those who pass by hurled insults at him, shaking their heads. So Jesus was mocked. Let's go down to verse 8. It says, commit yourself to the Lord. Let him deliver him. Let him rescue him, because he delights in him. That was fulfilled in Matthew 27:43, which says, he trusts in God. Let God rescue him now, if he wants him, for he said, I am the Son of God. Jump down to verse 15. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue cleaves to my jaws. He was thirsty. That's fulfilled in John 19:28. After this, Jesus, knowing that all things had already been accomplished, to fulfill the Scripture, I love that, to fulfill the Scripture said, I am thirsty. He's just, at this point, doing what was prophesied would be done, what would be said. That's pretty powerful stuff, by the way. Psalm 22:16, I saved my favorite for last. For dogs have surrounded me. A band of evildoers has encompassed me. They have pierced my hands and my feet. Now, keep in mind that at the time that David wrote this, the form of punishment known as crucifixion wouldn't even exist for, I think, another 400 to perhaps 700 years. I can't remember. I have to go do my history homework. But I know that it was hundreds of years before the form of punishment called crucifixion would even exist. So God is giving him a prophetic view of the cross and saying that his hands and his feet would be crucified, or pierced, And we all know that that was fulfilled by Jesus on the cross. But specifically it says it in Matthew 27:35. When they had crucified him. And the verse continues, but it speaks of the act in past tense. And also, Jesus, in John chapter 9, when he appears to the doubting Thomas who said, I won't believe that Jesus has come back from the dead until I'm able to see the imprint of the nails in his hands, until I'm able to put my hand into his side, I won't believe. Jesus appeared and in essence said, hey Thomas, how's it going, buddy? Here I am. Want to go ahead and touch the nail holes? You want to go ahead and put your hands in my side? And at that point, Thomas had the appropriate response. My Lord and my God. Recognized Jesus for exactly who he was. And so you see, in conclusion, that is why Jesus stated on the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me? He quoted Scripture. And he did it in order to fulfill the prophecies that were contained in the Messianic Psalm, Psalm 22. Blessings and peace. That concludes this message. In the name of Christ, have a great weekend.